Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Vulcan Report. This end of day report is for trading on the wonderful day of Tuesday, July the 11th, 2017. First, we're going to start off with the chart of the day, looking at a chart of NVIDIA. Ticker symbol is NVDA, as you can see at the left side of the screen here, right hither. All right, so what do we have here? Well, we have a situation where this market has been just marching on, as you can see here. Nice upward channel here. Market is breaking out, trying to come back and recover some of the pullback from the recent high of 168.50. We do have rampage coming up here, followed by little mini bumps upward along the way, just enough to keep it propelled up above the 160 level once we can get a good enough strong close with some good momentum here. 160 should be the new support as this market wants to march to 180. So NVIDIA appears to be getting ready to lock in this upside run and should be in play for the next several trading sessions at least. So this stock looks very, very powerful right now. If you take a look at the weekly time frame, you can see pretty much the same thing. This wants to be a $180 stock. All right, so good momentum right now. And barring anything unforeseen, this market should close above the momentum line, setting up more rallying into next week. All right, let's take a look and see how FANG is doing, starting off with Facebook. As you can see, Facebook has been waffling all around the place, trying to catch some footing, locking in the momentum, then losing it, then relocking back in again, then losing it. It's trying to do what it needs to do. It wants to be a $160 stock at least, but right now we're just trading in a sideways channel. All right, technically speaking, momentum is flat, and this market is going nowhere fast on the weekly chart. Taking a look, breaking it down into the daily chart, you can see how long we've been in this channel. All right, so prices are still trading within the range that they were trading in back on June the 2nd. So the market's just been fledgling around since June the 2nd, and we have a very wide trading range, ranging from 145 to 156 top side, and that's on Facebook. Moving along, if we can take a look at Amazon here, you can see Amazon is trying to become a $1,000 stock. It wants to lock that in. It does have some good momentum right here, but the only downside is that we're still in a larger downward channel that the market has broken, but needs to get a strong close on, because we're still below the 1017 high. Here we are at 994 after coming from the lows of 953. So that was a healthy pullback, maintained the bullish trend. The only thing we have now is that the long-term trend line is in that it's entered inside the Kumo cloud. It needs to gain some more elevation to get upside the cloud and help propel prices higher. Right now, I think the market is going to be hard-pressed to close above the psychological 1,000. So that's where we are on that one. We probably won't see the 1,000 until maybe around August the 7th. So that's the time frame we have on that one. We'll see what we can gather as the days and weeks go on, irrespective of whatever economics comes out. I think the only thing that would derail this one would be, poor earnings, obviously. But stocks have been known to rally on poor earnings. Taking a look at Apple. Apple has been in a well-defined downtrend on the daily chart. All right, we had a failed rally attempt back on June the 9th. We hit the highs of 156.65 back on May the 15th, and then here we are today struggling for dear life at this major resistance. Excuse me, we have major resistance at 146.34. Market's going to need to get its act together if it's going to get topside of this Kumo cloud. Let's take a look at the weekly. On the weekly, the market's outside of the Kumo cloud. But as you can see here on this weekly chart, we do have mad rampage coming up. I think that's going to help propel the stock and get it to that 160. It wants to be a $160 stock too, but it's going to need a close above 145.50 this week in order to lock in momentum for next week and stave off any continued slow grinding downward spiraling of price action. It can still sustain it all the way down to 130.67 as far as a correction. So we could drop another 15 bucks and it could still maintain a bullish complexion. And then you have the rampage here to also kind of bail it out. So we'll see what happens. Can the market get enough underneath of it to get up and go? Volume has also dropped off so far, mainly because of the holidays. And you can see this market maintains at least an average of 100 million shares a day. So it's not too bad. I mean, we're at 40 million so far. I'm sorry, I said a week. This is a day. This is a weekly chart. So this is a week, averaging about 100 million shares a week. So far, we're at 40 million. So it's dropped off, you know, pretty substantially so far. We don't have that much volume. But again, like I said, it's the holidays. So we'll cut them some slack. All right, let's look at Netflix. All right, Netflix has also been in a correction off the 166.87 highs. Now, this one is hard pressed here to get back up to the 160 level. It is currently at 154.33. And in order to have any hopes of doing this, we do have more upside room to run, but it's going to need a close above 152.61 this week, or that is not going to happen. We will roll over from here and we'll get that falling off of the cliff effect that I know that this market wants to try to avoid. But we are starting to become a little long in the tooth, in the trend, see the elongation taking effect at this point. But we do have rampage coming up that could help propel it and at least keep it on a level above 155. So we'll probably average around 155 as this market tries desperately to get a close back above 160. All right, let's finish with Google, or Alphabet is the new name as they like to be called now. On the weekly chart, mad rampage coming up, but we do have a flat period that will last until possibly October, the beginning of October, before we start hitting the rampage. So we will see. We do have room to correct and move sideways to slightly lower between now and October, and probably just oscillate in a wide trading range, probably ranging between 800 and 900, so about $100 trading range between now and then. That would, if we get down to the 836 level, like I said, it's about $100 away from where we are now. So bottom side around the 830, top side around the 920, 930 level, which is where we're trading it now. If we're going to stop that, then we're going to need to close this week above 930.96 in Google. Taking a look at GLD. All right, GLD on this weekly chart, as you can see, we do have a gap that needs to be contended with from here. All right, so we're going to need to do something about this gap from 2 weeks ago. It's possible it could try to fill it now, but it may not. It may wait a week. We are below the Kumo cloud, lost all momentum several weeks in a row now. We've lost momentum and we have gappage. So even on a filling of the gap is not enough to possibly reverse the trend. And we're starting to move away from this time period that I showed you with the stick figure. And we're in the right leg, which is, you know, we're in jeopardy now, in danger of dropping further below this Kumo cloud. All right, so this could get pretty ugly to the downside unless we can get something together and muster up a, you know, one of those incredible rallies. We need a bar like this to form like right now, or it's going to lose that opportunity. And you can see as the weeks go out, as we get further out, the cloud the top side of the cloud gets further away, and then when you flatten out up here, it's going to act as an iron curtain below here. So not looking good, but we do have a long period of possible bearishness, and it's elongated. It goes all the way out to into next year. So not looking good on the GLD. SLV on the weekly chart, pretty much the same story. So for this is way below the Kumo cloud. It would need a run here of like $4 just to get it back above the cloud, and you don't see that happening. You see it gaining downward strength. Momentum is picking up to the downside in the SLV. Flipping over to the future side of things. All right, looking at the gold futures right now. Gold futures, right here at this crossroad, it needs to do it this week. It has to close above this Kumo cloud. All right, and that's a close above 1234.40. Got to close above 1234.40 in order to stave off this downward pressure. If not, it's going to get into the Kumo cloud here. It's going to be tough to get out. It's going to be real tough to get out. You got rampage inside the cloud, but not necessarily enough to get it to poke its head out and close above it. It would take a lot of momentum and power or some type of story to do that. I see us getting maybe around here. I think this is going to be we're right here at the equilibrium price, but it's going to be outside the cloud. I think we're going to remain weak and range between 1190 and 1215 for the foreseeable future. And like I said, this elongates and stretches on up until almost Christmas time. So actually beyond Christmas into next year. So looks like nothing. We're going to need a story, or nothing will probably happen in the precious metals for the remainder of the year. All right, let's take a look at the mining section. Mining section, according to the weekly chart, even worse. But there's a but right here. From here to here, we're going to have about 2 to 3 weeks. All right, starting January 31st, just what I said to you on the Tuesday Terradome with V today. I gave you that date on or about January the 31st, possible bottoming out and possible rallying for the metals and the cryptos. And that coincides with this right here. You can see the date right here. All right, so this is where we are. All right, so GDXJ could possibly do it. It's going to need to do a lot, but it can be done. This week, just need to close above 32.37 to stave off downside momentum and try to get something building back up to 33.62 and possibly a run all the way to 34.98. So it can be done. We'll just have to wait and see. Taking a look now at the bond situation. Bonds have come off quite a bit, and as you can see here, we did make it up to the 157.08, just like I said, and now we're in a free fall predicament. In order to stave off more downside bloodletting, the bond is going to need to close above 153.14. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's possibly going to lock in more downside, and then we're probably going to be somewhere down here getting close to the 145, and that bodes well for the Fed, so they have an open door to raise those rates at least one more time, and that's what they're going to need. And like I said, it makes it easier for them to do this as long as bond prices remain weak. All right, taking a look now at crazy crude oil. Crude oil has been punching people in the face. If you have been on the bull side of things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row, 5 down weeks in a row, hard body karate. It dropped from 48.17 all the way down to 42.05. Ouch. If you were long and thought you were strong, you was wrong. Yeah, it's not looking too hot. You're not really getting any get up and go. You bounce from the low, but there's no get up and go. All right. You locked in that momentum, and then you lost it the following week. Now it's attempting to relock it back in again. It's going to need a lot more than that. And you're within this wide Kumo cloud of death. And you got hope. If they can get something going, it has hope. From September to October, if it can manage to close at least in that 47.50 range, 47.50 to 48.50, it's going to need to close in there. If it can do that and maintain an average price between October and November, it runs a good chance of being able to get out of that Kumo cloud and run and give you a nice Christmas rally, Santa Claus rally. If not, prices could collapse back down to the $40 handle. The weekly charts don't lie. All right, let's see. Moving on to the natural gas. I've really been waiting patiently for natural gas to show me something. All right, we had this marvelous run from $1.61 all the way up to 340, 390, and excuse me. Now here we are fledgling in the Kumo cloud of death at 303. Needs to do something here. All right. It's going to need to close above 299 this week to try to bring some momentum in, but we got this long Kumo cloud of death that stretches from here. It's going to have to maintain the current price, excuse me, all the way until, I want to say, November the 13th. At November the 13th, it's going to have to take everything in its power to get up and at least break out, have hope of breaking out of the cloud by December the 4th. And that should be telling what's going to happen. December the 4th should let us know what's going to be the situation with the natural gas. So between now and then, it runs a risk of just moving sideways for the next several months and doing absolutely nothing. Until then, a lot can happen. But this is where we are. We're in that Kumo cloud of death, where prices will probably just oscillate. The ranges do get tighter as the months move on, as you get into October. Got a wide range now, but then it's just going to cave in on itself here. As long as it can stay in the cloud, stay around this hot level, maintain a price above 298, it stands a good chance of running and being upwards of 360 at least by the mid-January. So that's where we are with the long-term analysis here on that. Let's look at your Bitcoin. Bitcoin has that August the 1st fork or split, however you want to call it, coming. And right now, here's where we are. Elongation up until November is what I'm saying, regardless of this fork. Then by November the 13th, we got that rampage coming, and it's a huge one. But then we flatten out again going into the end of the year. All right? Just flat. Nothing else coming. But then we're going to start running again probably somewhere in mid-January. We'll probably start running and get back up to $500-600 on the GBTC. Let's see if the situation is the same on the BITCF. BITCF says going to consolidate and elongate until October the 16th. because that is the tip of the iceberg where we get this rampage coming. It hits ramp September the 11th. Bitcoin hits the first ramp. Second ramp starts September the 18th. And then we have the final steep ramp on October the 9th that will catapult it upwards. So this is looking interesting. It's still not enough though to get it to 10 cents. It's not enough. It'll be happy to get back to 8 cents and maintain where it is, the high 8s. This is 0.815. 0.815. It needs to get back above 0.85, which was the high here that was made back on the week of April the 17th. So this one has been pretty much flat for a long time. This is a weekly chart. We haven't done anything with the same price today as we were back on the week of April the 3rd of 2017. So just a lot of flat lines going on in these markets. With that being said though, keep your eyes and ears open because you never know when something can jump off. That's why you got the pulse wave price triggers. There's a plethora of securities to choose from. You place your orders on Sunday night, Monday morning, and then go about your business and then check back in once or twice a week, 5-10 minutes a day tops. And that's all you got to do. Maintain your book. That's it. Some orders get filled, some don't. But that's what you do. You hunt. You let the market come to you, and then you make it do what it do. PulseWaveTrading.com. Come learn how to manipulate these central banks into doing your bidding instead of you doing theirs. That's what's up. That's what we do. Also, you can follow me now. I'm on Patreon now, Algo Capitalist. You can look me up on Patreon, Algo Capitalist. Here it is right here. All right. Patreon.com/Algo Capitalist. This is me right here. All right. So I'm on there now. And I'm working on some special content for the Patreon people. So if you are a subscriber and follower and fan of the work of the Algo Capitalist, come on and support me over at Patreon. I will appreciate that. I'm going to be able to do content that I'm not able to do on YouTube. For a while, I've been looking for a place where I could do that with ease, and it seems that that is the perfect place to do that. So I'm working on some exclusive content for that. You can come and you can follow me and over there, and we'll get this thing popping. So PulseWaveTrading.com. Remember, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. Peace.